I gave ChatGPT 150,000 transaction rows, 3 scenarios, and 1 question from my CFO. 10 minutes later, I had a working model, 3 stress-tested scenarios, and a board-ready narrative. All right, and here is our P&L model. It's pretty darn good. Great scenario tables. Recommendation right up top as it should be. Now, before you roll your eyes, I get it. I've been skeptical of every AI for Excel tool that's crossed my desk. Most of them are dressed up autocomplete. So when OpenAI launched ChatGPT for Excel in beta last week, I didn't record a hype video, I tested it on a real data set with real numbers against the kind of workflow I actually run. And then I came right here to tell you what actually happened. One quick thing before we get into it. If you want the exact prompts I used in this video, I send those out through my free newsletter, Finance Automation Insider. Every week I share the workflows, prompts, and tools I'm actually using to cut time out of finance work. The link is in the description, takes less than 30 seconds to sign up. Plus, I'll send you my free guide to 15 5-minute finance automations. And with that, let's get rolling. So first, how do you install ChatGPT for Excel? Well, there's 2 ways. You can start directly in Excel, which I'll show you in a second, or you can go to ChatGPT's website and go to ChatGPT for Excel, clicking this Install ChatGPT for Excel button. That's going to take you right to Microsoft where you can download it. Now, like I said, if you want to, you can also go straight to your add-ins. You can go straight to the App Store and search for it. Now, it won't come up when I search because I already have it, but you'll simply search for ChatGPT just like that. This add-in is going to come in with the ChatGPT symbol. You're going to go ahead and click on that. It will take 2 to 3 minutes to install, and then this sidebar is going to pop up. If you've worked with Copilot, if you've worked with Claude in Excel, it's going to be exactly the same thing. You'll see it's literally sitting right next to them. It's going to look identical. It's going to take a second to load, and then it's going to pull up a chat window that you can work right in Excel with. When the chat window comes up, it's automatically going to give you a new chat. It's automatically going to be set to fast responses. I'd recommend setting this to standard unless you want to do some really in-depth analysis or you are literally asking a quick question like what formula should I use? Just to walk you around this a little bit, if you want to do a new chat, there's a button here to start a whole new chat for you. You can come down here to access all your information. You do need to have a paid ChatGPT account to use this. It doesn't matter the level of paid. It can be enterprise, it can be pro. It just needs to be paid and not the free subscription. And then of course you can come down here. Now you're already in Excel and this add-in can work directly with your Excel file. It can make changes for you. If you want to add any additional context, you can just hit the plus and add other files beyond this workbook. Now, the one other thing I want to mention is if we come back to the 3 dots right here, this apply edits automatically. That's something if you're working with like Copilot agent mode, it will just make edits automatically. Claude and ChatGPT, because they're not from Microsoft, will ask you. I do recommend for the most part, if you're going to use this technology, turning this on because this is where the power comes from. So now that we're set up, let's put this thing to work. Step 1, we're going to build a model. We're going to start with a raw GL export. It's going to be flat data, no structure, and we're going to use ChatGPT to build a working P&L with margin rows and formulas. Step 2 is going to be scenario planning. This is going to be where things get really interesting. Instead of just taking the model as it is, we're going to run scenarios to understand a range of possibilities of what could happen. And we're not going to have to build a single one of them. ChatGPT is going to do it for us. And then lastly, we're going to get it ready to make some decisions. This is going to be narrative generation. With the model and scenarios built, we're going to use ChatGPT to draft a CFO summary. What's really cool is this whole thing start to finish takes under 10 minutes. And at the end, I'll tell you exactly what that same workflow used to cost me in time. So let's get into it. Now, the data set I'm working with is for the F9 Finance Coffee Shop. It's a chain of 3 coffee shops. The data we're going to work with is from January to June 2023. I've got a GL table, which is what we're going to work with first, sales revenue, actuals, budget, all that sort of thing. And then I've got a transaction table that we'll pull in a little bit later as we work with scenarios. And just here's a bunch of information on the transactions and exactly what we're selling. So this is our starting point. If you've ever gotten an export from an ERP system, this will look really familiar to you. And we're going to go ahead and build the model from this. So I've got a prompt put in here. We're going to act as a financial analyst. I want to use table financials, that's this table right over here, to build a P&L model, including gross and net margin. Then extend the model to forecast out the rest of 2023. output this on a new tab in this workbook. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to hit send. I've turned on the ability for it to do edits directly in the workbook, so it should be able to do all of this work for us. So you'll see it working away. It's planned out that it wants to complete 4 tasks. This is very similar to Claude for Excel and Copilot Agent Mode. If you've worked with those or watched any of my videos, it's showing us what it's going to do. It's showing us the thinking. It's actually behaving so far a lot more like Claude than it's behaving like Copilot, where it's explaining its thinking, but it's found the table. Now it's working through the information, and it says it's still got 4 tasks to go, but things are processing along for us. So we'll see ChatGPT for Excel is still working. It has now said it completed one of the first tasks, 3 more tasks left to go. And ChatGPT for Excel knocked out the last couple of tasks for us all at once. So it built a new monthly P&L. We'll look at that in a second. Pulls actuals directly from the financials table, documents the forecast logic on the right side of the new tab, gives us a summary, that's nice, of what it did and what the performance is. And then it said it formatted it for presentation, and then I can do additional views next if we want. From a timing standpoint, I'd say that took a little bit longer than Claude, about the same as Copilot, but now the real tell will be going to look at the P&L model. All right, and here is our P&L model. It's pretty darn good. So here's sales revenue, cost of goods sold. Remember, we didn't define any of this. We just had to look at the data and understand it. It got those categories correct. Here's our gross margin. Correctly caught our operating expense accounts, net income, net margin, all just as it should be. There's some forecast assumptions over here for us explaining how it calculated. And then it noted for us that these periods were actuals and these periods were forecast. So that is pretty darn good. That's about exactly what we're looking for. So now this gives us a clean model, but a model doesn't mean all that much if we can't guide the business and explain the possibilities. So with that, we're going to turn back to ChatGPT for Excel for scenario planning. Now, by the way, at this point in the video, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments. I am more than happy to help. Now, most scenario planning I see in practice is really sensitivity analysis with a better name. Someone adjusts the revenue growth rate from 5% to 8%, labels it the upside case, sends it up the chain. The math is fine. The problem is the assumption has no foundation in what the business is actually doing. And that's where I want to see if this can help us out a little bit more. So this is a coffee shop, and the coffee shop currently serves food, but the margin struggle, it requires kitchen staff. There's a whole lot of other things to consider, and we want to understand what happens to the financials if we cut out the food business. That's a lot more than just a sensitivity analysis. That requires understanding the transactions, understanding the food, understanding how it's going to impact this. So we're going to see how ChatGPT for Excel can handle this real situation. I've got this prompt in here: continue to act as a financial analyst, incorporate product information from table transactions into a scenario analysis, and model out what would happen if we stop serving food. Output the scenario analysis in a new tab. We'll go ahead and send that away, and we'll let it do its magic. ChatGPT's got the transaction data now. It's pulling all that in and starting to analyzing and understand how it can integrate the 2 data sets. So as it works, one of the great things we see it doing, aside from just doing all the work and kind of executing multiple steps for us, is checking the work. That's a great thing about these new agent tools, is they don't just do the work, they check the outputs and then they adjust as necessary if the outputs don't make sense. It's a lot better than the traditional prompt response. You're getting a lot more of the work. And you'll see the no food scenario tab has already been added. It's continuing to work on it, and very excited to see what it comes back with. All right, so it ran for 3 minutes, 49 seconds. Again, about in line with Claude for Excel and Copilot Excel. Probably a little bit slower than Claude, about the same as Copilot. Built a new no food scenario tab. Used transactions to help identify food as bakery. It's got the transaction information. Food represents 10% of the volume. That estimates our revenue. Here's what happens to the revenue. Gross margin is essentially unchanged, removing revenue and expenses proportionally. And then it says, if you want, I can do a sensitivity table, but let's see what we've got so far. So here's our no food scenario. Let's pull that over a little bit so we can see it, but great scenario table. So here's our base revenue, right? Here's an assumption about food. These are actuals. So it correctly, even though I didn't tell it, it correctly understood that you can't undo something that's already happened. So that the actuals stayed right where they were. This is saying what will happen if we remove the revenue. This is the remaining revenue after the change, adjusting our cost of sales. Here's the new gross profit. And then we come down here. It's not assuming any labor savings. We could certainly have it adjust for that because of the kitchen staff, and we will probably do so. And then no changes to rent, utilities, and marketing, which is fair. Now, we do see a deterioration in the margin already, but let's ask it to do one tweak and assume, let's say, 20%. Assume that labor reduces by 20% when you eliminate food. We'll send that away, and we'll see if it can handle that tweak for us, and we'll see what that does to the margin. So that updated really fast. It ran in a couple of seconds. It took out 20% of the labor. It added in the labor savings capture up there of 20%, as you see. And now the margin is actually a slight improvement from the average run rate. It's a little bit lower than June, but in all honesty, the margin is stronger than the average run rate was before. So that means that this may be something that the business wants to evaluate. And again, we did all of this, including the modeling and the adjustment in plain language without touching the model. Now, if you're finding this useful, by the way, a like on this video goes a long way for the channel, and it helps me know what content is worth making more of. So if this is landing for you and helping you out, go ahead and hit that like button. So now the model is built, the scenarios are tested. Now we need to turn it into something that a CFO could read before noon. This is the part a lot of people will run out of time for by having to actually do the modeling. And it's where I think ChatGPT for Excel is going to do some really good work. So we're again asking it to continue to act as a financial analyst and say, give me a CFO-ready brief on the year-to-date performance of the business, the year-to-go forecast, and a recommendation on whether to keep or eliminate food. So now we've had it do modeling, we've had it work with data. Let's see if it can handle doing some analysis. All right, and after just 2 minutes, ChatGPT has come back and saying it added a new CFO brief tab, which we do see down there. Here's the analysis of kind of what it said. Here's an overview of year to date, year to go. And then here's a look at the food decision. And it's saying, hey, if you want, I can turn this into a one-page board memo or a sensitivity table, but let's go ahead and take a look. We'll pull this over a little bit so we can see it. I'll say I will honestly say this is a pretty darn disappointing brief. It's really not well formatted. There is some information up here, but it's just not really well thought out or structured, definitely below the level of quality that you'd see from something like a Claude. So honestly, this is a pretty disappointing first pass. It does have the base information. It does have summaries, year-to-date actuals, year-to-date forecast, but it's pretty clunky, and I would never put anything even remotely close to this in front of an executive. So let's ask it to clean up. All right, so I'm going to say I'm disappointed by this analysis. The formatting is terrible, and it doesn't tell the story in an engaging way. Try putting it into the board memo format. So let's send that away and see if it can pull its work back together. All right, it looks like it's adding this as an entirely new tab as it works, not necessarily what we would have wanted to see from it, would have preferred this existing tab to be updated, but we'll let it finish what it's doing and come back for us. So far, I'd say A+ for the build and the modeling, and we're looking at a D or even an F for the analysis part. All right, so it ran for another 2 minutes, took just as long as the first time, saying you were right, I rebuilt this into a cleaner narrative, telling the story in 3 parts, headline takeaways, all right, all of that. So let's go ahead and go over and see what we've got. That is much better. That's what we were looking for the first time. Recommendation right up top as it should be, retain food in the current operating model. Removing it removes too much net income and actually reduces the average net margin. Should only be reconsidered if they can capture additional labor savings. And then here's our clean story following the financials, year-to-date performance, year-to-go forecast, and recommendations. So we got where we needed. It didn't hit it the first time, but it certainly is capable. But this is also why you want to make sure that you always review AI work. You want to spend some time up front, setting up, giving the context, giving the data. Let AI do the bulk of the work in the middle, but then you come in on the back end to do the polish. But now you've got a really good, fast first draft to work from instead of starting from the blank page. So that was really cool, and we got some great outputs, but there are 4 limitations worth knowing before you build anything. First, ChatGPT for Excel doesn't remember anything between sessions. Every time you open a new conversation, it starts cold. It's not like working in ChatGPT with memory. The context you spent 10 minutes establishing earlier is gone. For recurring workflows, this means you need a prompt library. This is a document with standard data and descriptions that you can give context to at the start of each session. It's a couple minutes extra work up front, but it will eliminate a lot of frustration. Second, it can get very confidently wrong on complex formulas. On straightforward calculations, it's reliable. You start nesting formulas with conditional logic across multiple sheets, and you need to verify everything before you build on top of it. Treat this like an intern or a junior analyst's work. Don't assume it's right just because it looks right. Third, it only works with what you give it. Now, this may seem obvious, but if your source data has errors, ChatGPT will analyze those errors with full confidence. The data quality still belongs to you. And lastly, several core Excel features aren't supported yet. Power Query, pivot tables, data validation, named ranges, those are not available in the current beta. If your workflow depends on those tools, you'll hit a wall. This will likely change in the future, but that's the reality today. The honest summary is this: ChatGPT for Excel is most reliable when the task is analytical and model-based and the data is clean. Know that going in, and you'll use it well. So now that we've done some building and we've looked at the downsides, let's put actual numbers on this. The model setup sequence, structuring a P&L, writing a margin formulas, that used to take 15 to 20 minutes on a file like this. With ChatGPT for Excel, it was done in 3 to 4. The scenario planning section, doing a complete analysis on pulling something out of the business and the impact, well, that could be an hour of work if you're doing it properly, even longer if you wanted to really dive into it. The full sequence in this video took about 5 minutes. Now, the CFO update, the narrative, we had to come back twice. Each time it took under 3 minutes, but again, we had to do it twice. Still, adding all that up, the same workflow used to take half of a day to a full day, had a complete defensible first version draft in under 15 minutes. Now, that's not insignificant. That's a dinner you make at home for. That's a workout you actually get to. That's a Friday afternoon that doesn't turn into a Saturday morning. A lot of that late time and a lot of those missed bedtimes and dinners had nothing to do with adding value. It had to do with this technical mechanical work. And tools like this chip away at that technical and mechanical work. As I said earlier, ChatGPT for Excel is in beta right now. The limitation list I walked through is going to get shorter as it gets into production and they keep developing it. So keep in mind that finance teams building their workflows around this now will have a compounding advantage over the ones waiting for it to be fully polished. Not just because they'll know more features, but because they'll already have figured out where it fits in their process and where it doesn't. Now, the next best step from this video is to learn Power Query automation workflows. As I mentioned, the data cleaning layer that happens before you bring anything into ChatGPT for Excel is critical. If your source data is messy, most of our source data is, then this video is where you want to go next. I'm going to put the link to the video right up here. This is going to teach you Power Query workflows using AI in just a couple of minutes that will get all the data ready to give you the best success with ChatGPT for Excel. I'll catch you over there. Until then, this is Mike signing off from F9 Finance. Cheers.